Hello, students. Today we are going to read the chapter that is chapter number 3 from your book Hornbill, Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues, written by A.R. Williams. Discovering Tut means knowing more about Tut, and the phrase the saga continues. Saga means the story, which continues. Dear students, this chapter gives us an in depth insight of the King Tut, who was the last ruler of powerful Pharaoh dynasty in Egypt. He was a teenager when he died, and his death was a mystery. Some speculated that he was murdered. He ruled in Egypt and its empire for centuries. In 1922, his tomb was discovered by Howard Carter, a British archaeologist. And after 80 years, he was taken from his resting place for CT scan, which offers to solve the mystery of his life and death by creating a forensic reconstruction. So, this interesting account written by A.R. Williams is of a great discovery that brings home the point that man is always curious to solve past mysteries, and it takes us to Egypt, the land of mummies. So, the discovery of Tut's tomb in 1922 led to many other archaeologists' discoveries and researches. Though Carter he was quite rude in handling Tut's mummy, his efforts at least saved the mummy from robbers and thieves who might have destroyed it totally to extract its golden adornments. So it was on 5th January 2005 that Tut's mummy was scanned to know the secret of Tut's sudden death at a young age. The scanned images assured the world that nothing was unnatural about Tut's death. So let us start reading the chapter that is Discovering Tut, the saga continues. He was just a teenager. He here refers to King Tut, whose full name is Tutankhamun. So he was just a teenager. He was in his teens and when he died. The last heir of a powerful family. Heir means the successor of the dynasty that had ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid to rest laden with gold and eventually forgotten. Now, Egyptians, they believe in afterlife. That means life after death. So they used to bury the person, the dead body of the person, with all the treasures and the things that required for day to day needs, as they believed in afterlife. So this king was also buried with all the treasures and gold and was forgotten. Since the discovery of his tomb in 1922, the modern world has speculated about what happened to him. Speculated means making assumptions, andaza lagana, that what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. So, the murder was considered to be the possibility that the king was murdered at such a young age. Now, leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offers new clue about his life and death and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boy's pharaoh. So, after 80 years of its discovery, now Tut's mummy was going to undergo a CT scan. Definitely, it was expected that the CT scan would solve all the lingering questions after the forensic reconstruction. So let's read the chapter. What else is explained by A.R. Williams? An angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of Kings. So, when the mummy of the king Tut it was taken out from its tomb, uh, it is said that the mummy it was kept in a tomb which was in the Egyptian cemetery, which was known as the Valley of Kings. So all the kings were buried in a place which was given the name the Valley of King. And when this was happening, a fast, strange, and unnatural wind was blowing. So, as the mummy was taken out from its tomb from the grave. And this is the Valley of Kings, which is the Egyptian cemetery. It is a place where all the kings were buried and a tomb was built there. So dark bellied clouds had scudded across the desert sky all day and now were wheeling the stars in cascade gray. So the sky, it was overcast with dark clouds, and thus uh, those clouds were covering the stars also. Now, cascade gray refers to like as if all the stars were kept in a basket and the clouds they were covering, they were wheeling the stars in cascade gray. And it was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into a CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. So, the King Tut's mummy, which was the world's most famous mummy, it was then taken out and was now moved towards the CT scanner. It glided. The head was first taken into the scanner, and people were expecting that to probe the lingering mysteries means to solve the mysteries that after the CT scan. They will be able to investigate the mystery behind the death, which had occurred more than 3,300 years ago. So, all the afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped, rock cut tomb some 26 feet underground to pay their respect. So, King Tut's tomb was built underground by cutting a rock. So, it was a rock cut tomb, and there were tourists also who visited this tomb as if they were paying the respect to this king. They gazed at the murals on the wall. Murals refers to the paintings that were made on the walls and walls of the burial chamber, and peered at the Tut's gilded face, the most striking feature of his mummy shaped outer coffin lid. So as the mummy was taken out, the visitors there they were also looking at the coffin in which the mummy was kept. It was a gilded coffin, means coffin which was made of pure gold, and thus it was all painted with gold. So the people they were looking in admiration at the murals, they were looking at the face of the King Tut. On the lid, on the coffin lid, the face of King Tut was also carved out. So the visitors they were looking at that. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper. Others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver if the Pharaoh's curse, death or misfortune, falling upon those who disturbed him, was really true. And thus, the visitors they were also looking at the guidebooks that they held in their hands. Some stood silently there. Some were wondering about the untimely death of the theme. They were also wondering of the curse that actually was related to this mummy, that the curse of the pharaoh which led to the descent of the misfortune upon the person who disturbed the mummy. There was this Egyptian belief that if anybody disturbed the mummy, the curse befell on them. So this thus the visitors there they were actually wondering about all these facts. The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did in 1920s, said Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities. Zahi Hawass, he was the person who was given the in charge of this whole project of mummies. So as he leaned over the body for the first look, he found that the mummy, it was in a very bad shape. And he believed that it was all because of the archaeologist Howard Carter. Howard Carter was the British archaeologist who, in 1922, discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity, were surprisingly complete. So, although it was believed that King Tut's tombs and other mummies they were ransacked, means looted in haste by the robbers, but still King Tut's mummies and all the treasures of this king was found in a complete way. Surprisingly, nothing was missing from the tomb of King Tut. So they remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become a part of Pharaoh's legend. Stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance, meant to guarantee resurrection. Resurrection means belief in birth after life, and thus caused a sensation at the time of the discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he would want in the afterlife: board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food, and wine. So the valuable treasure of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly, they were all complete. The treasure found at Tut's grave is considered to be the richest till date and has come to known as Pharaoh's legend. People call it Pharaoh's legend. And it has artifacts in gold, which are eternally beautiful. And such artifacts still attract people's attention. So Tut was not only buried with the treasures, but he was also buried with things of daily use like razor made of bronze, games board, garments, undergarments, boxes of food and wine, which he could use in the next life. So after months of careful recording of Pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffin. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves. Wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers, the faded evidence of burial in March or April. Now, after Carter had taken a look at the treasures and made a record of all the treasure found in Tut's grave, he began investigating the three nested coffin and which was nested one after another. So, in the first coffin, he found a piece of cloth with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals. So, these all suggested that the king had been buried in the month of March or April. That means he died during the spring season. So, when he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble. The ritual raisins had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Legitimate force means proper force which was applied to take out the mummy. It could not even move the mummy. Carter wrote later what was to be done. So when Carter he started to look at the mummy and he wanted to take out the mummy, he was in a trouble then at that time. He was in a fix. The body had hardened due to the resins which had cemented the body and it had stuck to the bottom of the coffin which was made of gold. Carter wondered what to do next because no amount of proper force could separate the two. He was not able to take out the mummy from the coffin. The sun can beat down like a hammer this for far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the resin. So he came up with an idea. He tried to loosen the raisins by keeping the body in the hot sun. So he thought that maybe the heat of the sun could actually melt the raisin. So for several hours he had kept the mummy outside in the blazing sunshine that it heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit, but nothing budged. So he kept the mummy in 149 degrees Fahrenheit heat for several hours, but still it remained stuck. Nothing moved from the bottom. He reported that with the scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remain. So chiseled means to be separated. He reported that a chisel could only be used to cut down the mummy from the limbs and the trunk so that the body could be taken out of coffin. In scientific detachment means uh, no archaeologist could actually do such kind of thing the way he had done and decided to do with the mummy. So he had decided the material that was there in the coffin, He would chisel it from different parts, different joints, and then would take out the mummy to remove the adorned jewelry from the body of King Tut. In his defense, Carter really had little choice. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. Now, according to Carter, he wrote that he had no choice other than to cut the mummy. So, in his defense, he wrote that he had little choice left. He believed that if he hadn't done that, thieves would have removed the gold from the tomb and would have looted it and destroyed the mummy. Circumvented the guard means cheated the guards, uh, would have caused harm to the guards, and thus have looted all the treasures. During the Tut's time, the royal people were really very wealthy, and they had a belief that after that they could take the wealth along with them. So this is another Egyptian belief that the Egyptian people, they believed in life after death, and also that they could carry their wealth into their afterlife. So King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheath for his fingers and toes, and the new iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. And that is why King's body was adorned with all the gold jewelry that included collars, necklaces, bracelets, rings, amulets, etc. And all was made of pure gold. To separate Tut from his adornment, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and severed nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed the damage, the bed where Tut now rests. So, Howard Carter's men, they removed his head and every joint of his body. They cut it from different joints and they removed the jewelry from his body. And after they were finished, they reassembled. They had put the joints together and they covered it with a padding, with a layer of sand to conceal the damage. And thus, again, the king was put back into its coffin, and the coffin was put back into the tomb, and it was his new resting place then. So, dear students, today we are going to stop here. We will continue this chapter in the next session. Thank you and have a nice day.